Are you ready to step into the realm where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest? Today, we're diving into stories that will make you question the boundaries of reality. From twins who claim to see spirits across the street to a new student who meets a roommate that shouldn't exist, and a couple who witness a ghost train tragedy replayed before their eyes. These are tales that will leave you questioning what you thought you knew about the world around us. Welcome back to Two Tricks, One Treat, the channel that explores the mysterious, the unsettling, and the downright inexplicable. As always, two of our stories are crafted from the fabric of imagination, while one is woven from the threads of unsettling truth. After you discover which tale is real, let us know if you guessed correctly by leaving a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss our weekly journeys into the unknown. Now, let's begin. Story 1: The Twins. In the quaint town of Adamsburg, the Thompson family lived in a charming old house directly across from the town's cemetery. Joanna Thompson, a stay-at-home mom, and her husband Mark, a local mechanic, were the proud parents of twin boys, Timmy and Tommy, who were just 2 years old. The twins were inseparable and had vivid imaginations, often playing together and creating their own little worlds. Joanna always found it a bit eerie living across from the cemetery, but Mark assured her it was a peaceful place, and they had gotten the house at a great price. However, as the twins grew older, they began to tell Joanna about the people they saw across the street. "Mama, the lady in the white dress waved at me," Timmy would say, his eyes wide with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "And the man with the hat, he's funny, Mama," Tommy would add, giggling as if recalling a joke. Joanna initially dismissed these stories as products of their active imaginations, but the descriptions became more detailed, and the twins started differentiating between the nice and scary ghosts. "The man with the red eyes, he's mean, Mama. He scares me," Timmy would say, clinging to his mother's leg. Joanna and Mark had always been mildly concerned about the twins talking to ghosts, but their concern escalated into outright fear one chilly evening. The twins were playing in the living room when they suddenly froze, staring out the window that faced the yard and, beyond it, the cemetery. "What's wrong, boys?" Joanna asked, following their gaze but seeing nothing unusual. "The man with the red eyes is in our yard," one of the twins whispered, his voice tinged with fear. Joanna felt a shiver run down her spine. Mark, overhearing the conversation, quickly joined them at the window. "Are you sure, buddy?" he asked, his eyes scanning the yard intently. "Yes, Daddy, he's looking at us," the other twin added, clutching his brother's hand. Both Joanna and Mark felt a sense of dread wash over them. Until now, the mysterious figures the twins spoke of had stayed across the street, confined to the cemetery, but if what the twins were saying was true, then the boundary had been crossed. Something had to be done. Highly concerned and unsure what to do, Joanna decided to consult a local medium. The medium confirmed that the twins had a unique sensitivity to the spiritual world. She advised Joanna to teach them to set boundaries with the spirits and to use sage to cleanse their home. Joanna followed the medium's advice, and over time the twins learned to communicate only with the nice spirits. When the bad spirit was near, they were told to stay together, ignore him, and find Mom and Dad. A few nights later, the twins seemed unusually calm as they played near the window. Joanna, still on edge from the previous incident, couldn't help but ask, "Have you seen the man with the red eyes again?" "No, Mommy," one of the twins replied, smiling. "The lady in the white dress and the man with the hat told him to go away." Joanna felt a mixture of relief and curiosity. "Really? They can do that?" "Yes," the other twin chimed in. "They said they're watching over us. They won't let the bad man come back." Joanna shared this new development with Mark, and they both felt a sense of comfort, albeit tinged with disbelief. Could it be that these good spirits were actually protecting their family? The thought was as unsettling as it was reassuring. As the years passed, the Thompson family continued to live across from the cemetery, but the twins' encounters became less frequent as they grew older. However, they never forgot their childhood experiences, and they always felt a unique connection to the world beyond. Their mother, Joanna, who had once been skeptical, became a firm believer in the paranormal, forever grateful to the nice spirits who had watched over her boys. Story 2. The Roommate. Chris was filled with a mix of excitement and nervousness as he arrived at his new boarding school. The campus was bustling with students moving in, and he couldn't wait to meet his roommate and start this new chapter in his life. Lugging his suitcase up the stairs, he finally reached his dorm room. To his surprise, his roommate was already there, sitting quietly on his bed. The young man was dressed in swim trunks and a tank top, which seemed odd to Chris given they were indoors. "Hey, I'm Chris," he said, extending a friendly smile. "Looks like we're roommates. What's your name?" The roommate didn't respond, just offered a shy nod. Chris found it a bit strange, but shrugged it off, assuming the guy was just introverted. As he unpacked his belongings, he filled the silence with chatter about his hometown, his interests, and how thrilled he was to be at the school. "Hey, I'm going to grab some lunch from the cafeteria. Want to join?" Chris asked once his side of the room was set up. "No, thanks," the roommate finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "All right, see you later then," Chris said, heading out to eat. When he returned to the room, he was puzzled to find it empty. His roommate's belongings were gone, as if he had never been there. Confused and a bit concerned, Chris went to the administration office to inquire about his missing roommate. "You don't have a roommate," the faculty member said, checking the computer. I'm not sure how to say this. Your would-be roommate was involved in an accident about a week ago. He drowned. I'm sorry." A chill ran down Chris's spine and his face went pale. "Are you okay, Chris?" the faculty member asked. Yes, thanks," Chris said, leaving the office room in a hurry. Chris found a seat in the lobby, pulled out his phone, and searched for news articles about the drowning. When he found a photo of the deceased student, his heart sank. It was the exact face of the boy he had just shared a room with. Stunned, Chris returned to his now empty room. He sat on his bed trying to process what had just happened. Was it his imagination, a stress-induced hallucination, or had he really met the ghost of his would-be roommate? For the rest of the day, Chris couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that enveloped him. He told a few close friends about the experience, but no one knew what to make of it. As night fell, he lay in bed staring at the empty space where his roommate's bed had been, pondering the inexplicable events of the day. And so, Chris's first day at boarding school became a tale he would never forget, a haunting experience that would forever raise questions about life, death, and the mysteries that lie in between. Story 3. The Ghost Train. In the sweltering summer of 1950, John and Elise found themselves stranded miles away from home, their Ford coughing its last breaths just before the stretch of road leading to the Bastion Bridge in Statesville. Despite John's best attempts, flipping open the hood and cursing at the engine did little good. "I don't know, Elise. It's like it just gave up on us," John said, wiping sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief. Elise sighed, looking towards the enigmatic structure that was Bastion Bridge. "Well, what do we do now? Wait for a miracle?" "No need for that, sweetheart," John assured her. "I'll walk back to the nearest gas station we passed. You stay here. It's not safe to walk along these roads at night." Elise was not thrilled at the prospect of being alone, but knew the logic in John's words. The couple shared a tender kiss, and John began his trek back to civilization, a small flashlight in hand. Alone, Elise felt the weight of the nocturnal silence envelop her. She locked the car doors and attempted to read a magazine she found in the glove box. But her eyes kept drifting towards the bridge, its form barely discernible under the pale moonlight. To her, it looked like a long-forgotten relic, forsaken but undeniably present. As time passed, Elise started feeling more uncomfortable. That's when she felt it, a distant rumbling that increased in intensity until it turned into a deafening roar. Bright lights appeared in the distance, approaching rapidly. Elise squinted at the train's lights, its arrival strangely comforting. But then, horror unfolded. The train plummeted off the bridge, followed by screams and explosions. Elise was paralyzed in terror, grasping the steering wheel so tightly that her knuckles turned white. "What in God's name just happened?" she thought. Hours later, John returned with a mechanic. Elise was hysterical, recounting the ghastly incident. They searched the vicinity, flashlights in hand, but found nothing. The bridge stood as it had for decades, enigmatically silent. Confused and concerned, they finally towed the car and headed back to town. It wasn't until they reached a late-night diner that a local overheard their conversation and shared the chilling history of the Boston Bridge disaster. As the elderly man recited the tale, the color drained from Elise's face and she fainted. When she came to, Elise found herself the center of a mystery that dated back almost 60 years. While some dismissed her experience as a trick of the light or the result of stress and isolation, others weren't so sure. After all, hadn't she described the event in too vivid a detail? Could it really be a mere coincidence that her account echoed a tragedy that had occurred so many years ago? For John and Elise, the night's events would forever remain an unsettling question mark in their lives, converting them into reluctant guardians of a haunting tale that refused to die. They became bound to one of North Carolina's most chilling mysteries, a real-life horror story that continued to defy both reason and time. And so we conclude another expedition into the mysterious and the unfathomable, bringing this episode to a close. 3 tales, each one a labyrinth of mystery and wonder, designed to make you question the very fabric of reality. But as always, only one of these stories is anchored in the unsettling realm of true events. Did you manage to unravel the truth? If you guessed story 3, the ghost train, then you've hit the nail on the head. This haunting tale is inspired by the very real and tragic events of the Boston Bridge disaster in North Carolina. On August 27, 1891, a Richmond and Danville Railroad train derailed off the Boston Bridge, killing 23 people. The train was running late and was attempting to make up for lost time when it met its tragic end. The investigation that followed pointed to sabotage. Spikes had been removed from the rails. Despite the railroad company's best efforts, the culprits were never definitively identified, leaving a shroud of mystery that has never been lifted. But the story doesn't end there. Over the years, the bridge has become a focal point for paranormal activity. Legend has it that on the anniversary of the accident, the horrifying sounds of screeching wheels and anguished screams can still be heard echoing in the night air. Some have even claimed to see the ghost of a uniformed railway employee, believed to be baggage master Hugh K. Linster, whose life was tragically cut short in the disaster. The bridge's eerie reputation took a darker turn on the 119th anniversary of the accident. A group of amateur ghost hunters gathered on the bridge, hoping to catch a glimpse of the supernatural. Instead, they found themselves in the path of a very real, oncoming train. Tragically, one of them, Christopher Kaiser, was struck and killed, adding another layer of sorrow to the bridge's already tragic history. So, what do you make of this? Could it be that the spirits of those who perished are still bound to the place of their untimely demise, replaying the tragedy year after year? Or is this all just a series of unfortunate coincidences and overactive imaginations? Whatever you believe, the tale of the Boston Bridge serves as a chilling reminder that some mysteries are perhaps destined to remain unsolved, their truths lurking in the shadows, just beyond the reach of understanding.
Hang on, before you go, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, else you might get a visit from the man with red eyes in your bedroom tonight.